Missouri likes being a player in the SEC, and they enjoy 10-win seasons, which is why they're going to do everything possible to guarantee that in 2025 by adding in yet another face to the backfield. Penn State's Beau Pribula is turning in his Nittany Lion pride and turning it into Tiger Tyrant. Let's go ahead and grade the move. Welcome on into SEC Unfiltered. He's Dave Shumate. I'm Cole Thompson. And today we talk about Pribula's commitment from State College to Como. Real quickly, make sure that you like the video, hit the ring notification, and subscribe to the channel because we talk college football every single day. We got the transfer portal. We got the college football playoff. What better place to talk SEC ball than SEC Unfiltered? Download the podcast version of the show wherever you get your podcast listening systems. Make sure that you're following us on the socials. Link in the description. Follow Dave at Mock 10 Sports, me at Miss Cole Thompson, and check out all of our great work found at secunfiltered.com. This episode is brought to you by our friends over at GameTime. Download the GameTime app and use the promo code SECU for $20 off your first purchase. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not just for college football. Just because of your team is ending its year does not mean you can't go to GameTime and pick up some basketball tickets. Doesn't mean you can't go to the NBA. Doesn't mean you can't get ready for spring training. Doesn't mean you can't go catch an NFL game. If you want to go see your favorite comedian, he's coming to town, like Shane Gillis. He won't annoy you like he annoyed Nick Saban, but you can go ahead and buy those tickets with the GameTime app. $20 off your first purchase. Dave, I like this move a lot. And the reason I like this move is because of what you're guaranteeing if you are Eli Drinkwitz is we're going to be a player. We're going to be forceful. We're going to guarantee that we are at least making the right moves, but we're not guaranteeing starting roles. We feel good about our quarterback room moving forward. We feel good about the heir apparents of Brady Cook that are going to compete for the job. If Beau Pribula is better than all of them, then guess what? We're right back in the saddle. A 10-win season is upon us. A college football playoff dark horse bid is not that far-fetched. We could be right there in 2025.
Yeah, I mean, is it a take that just really gets you jacked? Like you're like, all right, we found our guy for 2025. No, but it's like you said, Barry, it brings in competition. It brings in a quarterback battle. Can he win it? He's probably the odds-on favorite right now.
I would say
sure.
so.
I mean, he didn't play a ton against Penn State. I mean, he had some packages, didn't get a lot of reps, getting in a lot of run against the better competition against Oregon and Ohio State. We were talking a little bit about that off air. But again, I mean, we've seen people, I mean, only one quarterback can play. So, I mean, the quarterback position is a little different at times where it's like, oh, not a lot of reps, not a lot of run right there. It's like, well, I mean, unless you're Arch Manning or you're factoring in some other players down the line like we see that. You just haven't seen a lot of players because, again, there's only one football and one guy can take snaps. So here we go. I mean, Brady Cook's gone. What can Kirby Moore, what can Eli Drinkwitz work with here with our guy, Beau Pribula from Penn State? I mean, again, there's really not a lot to go off of. I went back and watched some of his PFF stuff, and some of it was impressive. They use him a lot in the design run game, a little in short intermediate packages there. I think it's fine to go and compete for the job. This will be one of the more interesting quarterback battles to watch as we roll into the spring here, in my opinion.
Listen, he was a top 3 portal quarterback, if I'm not mistaken, in this year's class. He was a top 25 player in the portal. There's a lot to like about him. I think the main thing is that he comes from a system where he just learned underneath Andy Kotelnicki, and he has untapped potential. I mean, we haven't seen enough of him because of what Drew Aller is. Aller's been there for 2 years. He entered the transfer portal because Aller's coming back for a 3rd season. And I do believe that when they used the design packages for him, it was because he was hyper athletic. What do we know about Brady Cook? When he needed to run, he was not afraid to tuck the rock and go ahead and pick up those hard yards. That might be Beau Pribula. When he was in high school, one of the best passers coming out, he was able to have a really good overall frame. He's 6'2", 207 pounds. He's got 2 years of eligibility remaining. 275 yards, 5 touchdowns, and an interception this past season. But the 242 rushing yards on 38 carries, 4 touchdowns on the ground, that is something that can entice me. It shows that I got a quarterback that has the ability to win with his legs and a quarterback that with the right system may be able to show off that arm strength, connect with guys like Kevin Coleman, connect with guys like Joshua Manning next year, Brett Norfleet. It's another wash, rinse, repeat system. We got a dude that is not afraid to be a 3-down element type of quarterback.
Yeah, and I mean, he sounds like it from an intangible standpoint, just outside of I think it's tough to totally judge his physical attributes here unless you go back and watch his high school stuff. But you do like the stuff James Franklin said about him. Good teammate. He didn't really want to leave in the middle of the playoffs, but it's the calendar, which some of that's true as well. So, I mean, those are kind of the intangibles because quarterbacks, I mean, dude, it's one of those things. I don't like to judge quarterbacks until I see them in person and get to talk to them because, again, I mean, there's so much more to the position than it is just turning on the tape and watching him in a highlight video. Because, again, this guy could be a total turd in the locker room. Teammates cannot like him. You like guys who gravitate towards your quarterback because, again, that's the leader. That's the face of your team. And James Franklin coming out in the middle of a playoff run and complimenting the kid and saying he's a really good teammate. If you're a Missouri fan, that should honestly fire you up because, again, you got to have those intangibles where you're a leader on the field, kind of like how the team looked at Brady Cook at times in Columbia.
The thing that's really important, Dave, also is that Beau Pribula was being looked at by multiple schools that are going to be playoff contenders next year. You have potentially UCF with Scott Frost. They're swinging big. They want to get back to what they were in 2017. You have Ole Miss. Ole Miss had him on a visit this past weekend before he went home back to Pennsylvania and delivered what was going to be the ultimate decision to come to Columbia. This is a dude that maybe could have competed with Austin Simmons. Indiana was reportedly in the mix. They want to go after him. Iowa wants to be that team that was a lot like Indiana this year, where they're making the jump and they're going underneath Kirk Ferentz to the playoff next year. And he chose Mizzou. He chose to be a Tiger. He chose to be a part of a program that could finish with back-to-back 10-win seasons and enter a new era of Como football. And I think that that's something that you should be proud of if you are a Mizzou fan, if you are a Mizzou believer that this team hasn't reached its peak underneath Eli Drinkwitz. There's still more of untapped potential that could come with the future of this organization because of every single one of those schools is going to have a quarterback battle, including Missouri. But Pribula said, you know what? This is the school that I think best fits what I can do. This is the school that best fits what I can provide. This is a school that I believe, with me at the helm, can be a dark horse into the college football playoff, be a dark horse to win a national championship. Sign me on up. I'm bleeding the gold and black.
Yeah, no, this will be interesting in the spring, in my opinion. Here again, not a lot I can go off the tape to really judge this. Again, the quarterback spot, hard. Unless you've had conversations with the kid, that's why we're about to do the grading, and I'm like, geez, I'm about to go put a grading scale on this kid. I've never even had a conversation with this kid.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is what it is. Let's go ahead and grade the move. You do this all the time. Elite, all league, winnable plus, winnable minus. Just really quickly, 30 seconds or less, break down what this is and what do you give Pribula? Because he is a hard grade with no film really on him. But I do think that, again, the position maybe ups him up just a little bit.
Yeah, and like I said, again, quarterbacks, it's more intangibles than just turning on the highlight tape, folks. But elite, again, I haven't given this out once. I think I maybe given this out once or twice in my entire career. But again, what this scale is, this is a Kirby Smart, Dan Lanning scale for being quick about it. Nick Saban's, Bill Belichick's a little too complicated for today's quick evaluation. So we had to dumb it down when we created this. So this is what it is. Elite, again, it speaks for itself. The rare of all rare players, Trey Smith, offensive lineman, Travis Hunter. You're not signing a bunch of those guys. All league, you're probably not signing many more of those guys. Let's be honest. The core of your team, if you're a good football team, should be 5 to 7 of your top 10 guys you sign to be winnable plus guys. If you have that, if you're hitting on 50 to 70% of your players and they're winnable plus, you're going to win a lot of football games. Winnable minus, disregard the minus. It's not a bad thing. It's just they're a player that you're going to surround yourself with. You're going to surround them with other good players. You're not going to win because of them, but you can win with them. And again, I've tweaked it a little bit. We used to have a winnable. It used to be winnable plus, winnable minus. I just hated. There were so many winnables. Sometimes when we're doing this, like, God, I really wish I had the winnable one. And this is one of these examples. I wish I could put my guy Pribula into the winnable category, but we don't have that. So I'm going to go winnable minus, and I hate saying that. If you've watched any of these reviews before, a quarterback spot, I don't really like doing that going into it, but I lean a little bit more minus, not because of him, just because I do think they're going to have to surround him with a right tackle to replace Armand M'Boukie. They have to help him up on the offensive line and to get him some more skill guys. You're right. The addition of Kevin Coleman's helped tremendously, but I think they're going to have to help him out. They have to help him out with a run game as well here. This could turn into a winnable plus though by the season's end. But I'll say as we stand right now, with them initially just taking him, I'm going to go winnable minus.
I go winnable plus simply because it's the quarterback position. I don't know what I'm going to get in Sam Horn. I don't know what I'm going to get in Zollers. There's a conversation that Drew Pine is going to be the starter week 1. After what I saw in that game against Alabama, if Drew Pine is trotted out there, I can't believe in him. Yes, you had the magic enough to get by an Oklahoma squad that had no offensive identity. And remember, Dave, in that game, it was basically a field goal matchup for 3.5 quarters. And then the final 15 minutes, really the final 10 minutes, was highlights, fireworks. It was everything of explosivity that you could have wanted. And a lot of it came on the defensive side of the ball. So I don't feel good about any of the quarterbacks currently in the room based off of what I've seen. But I feel good that now I got 3 different options to where you all can battle it out. You all can decide and make my job easier. If I'm Eli Drinkwitz, if I'm Kirby Moore, we're going to go with the best option out here. If Pribula, who is great inside the red zone with his legs, a guy who was coming out of high school as a 4-star talent, and he's already been in 2 different offensive systems underneath Mike Urich and then Andy Koltnicki this past year, was a part of a team that went to the college football playoff, is the right dude. Dude, go out there week 1, start slinging it around the yard, make our job easy, put us in the college football playoff. If he's not the right dude, well, Sam Horn, we got you. Sam Horn plays baseball. He's coming off of a Tommy John surgery. We don't know what version of him we're going to get next year. Matt Zollers, we think that he could be the long-term answer. If Pribula is awesome in 2025, he's going to go pro. That's the way the narrative works. And so we kind of get to redshirt this kid for a year. I think it's a good move because of you needed to have a contingency plan when you lost Brady Cook. Cook is the ultimate Tiger. He is a dude that lives, breathes Mizzou football. He is not a bandwagon fan like me. He loves everything about Mizzou. It's very hard to replace that type of talent and that type of aura inside the locker room. But when you give yourself ample opportunities to say, this quarterback provides this for us, this quarterback provides this for us, this quarterback can do this really well and this really terribly, and then you allow yourself to build an offense and whatever one works the best around that guy, that allows you to, once again, hit the reset button instead of the redump button or retool button. You get to go back to square one and be right in the conversation. I like that move. Whenever you're a quarterback going to a system that needs to guarantee it has options, it's always going to be one of a plus for me. Beau Pribula, I think that he has a lot of potential. I think that when you look at what his ability can do inside the red zone, can carry on in to the open space, I think that you are going to see a quarterback that takes, again, a Missouri squad into that 9-win range, that 10-win range, and maybe even a dark horse with the college football playoff. Dave, their schedule is going to be the exact same this year. And remember, all 3 losses came on the road. All 3 of those games are going to be played in Como in 2025.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a TBD for me with this take here. I don't really think there's enough information to say it's a home run, no brainer. He's replacing Brady Cook easily. And I don't think there's enough information out there to say, hey, this is a terrible take either. I think this is going to fully go into the spring here. And anybody who says differently, either you're wearing some really bright, which sounds crazy, black and gold glasses, or I guess maybe you're an Arkansas fan and you're just hoping this totally fails.
Oh, no, this is amazing because us bandwagoners, we love to see Mizzou win, and they beat Ole Miss. So that's exactly what we want to see. Let us know in the comment section down below. What do you think about Pribula's addition to Como? Do you believe this is your future heir apparent of Brady Cook? Do you believe it's just a dude on the roster? Like, review, make sure you hit subscribe to the channel because we talk college football every single day. Download the podcast version of the show wherever you get your podcast listening systems. Follow us on the socials, link in the description. Follow Dave at Mach 10 Sports, be at Mr. Cole Thompson, and check out all of our great work found at SECUnfiltered.com. For Dave Shumate, I am Cole Thompson. MIZ, you might got a quarterback. Peace.